let's do NFC East preview package. We have the defending NFC East champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, who not even in question have the best quarterback in that division. So we're not really worried about that.
Yeah, no,
Jalen Hurts is the best.
that's a given. It's you can't argue against it, right? He went
Right.
absolutely beast mode last year. Every year he's gotten better and better. 3,700 yards, 22 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions.
Yeah.
Insane.
Now, the question is, who is the second best
Mm.
quarterback? Bert, give it to me.
It's Daniel Jones. It is. And
Yeah,
and
hold
look,
up. Yep, sure is.
we say that so I'm going off of, like, moving forward, right?
Mhm.
Now, the one thing with Dak, if you look at his resume, is it better than Daniel Jones? Yes, it is, and here's why, because Dak Prescott has had a longer career and one that had a more consistent, I guess, coaching environment and
Yeah,
backfield than Daniel
yeah,
Jones had. And look, nothing against Saquon, he's been great, but I mean, Zeke in his prime was Zeke. And now we're seeing the opposite effect of that, right? When
right.
Dallas's backfield is not as consistent as it has been, we're talking about a rushed Dak Prescott that threw a season and I think NFL high 15 interceptions last year.
Mhm.
Whereas my boy Danny Dimes, he threw five. Threw for only 15 touchdowns with 3,200 yards, had a great year last year. And this was amidst a coaching change. He found his rhythm. He got paid in the offseason. So looking ahead, who has the better outlook and who is the second best quarterback in that division? For me, it's simple. It's Daniel Jones. And as of today, Saquon signed an 11 mil 1 year deal. You know he's
Mhm.
playing. He's getting that
Yep.
game check. He's going to have
Congratulations.
consistency in the backfield. Daniel Jones is also going to have, we'll say, more offensive weapons and a reliable, hopefully, tight end with Darren Waller. So I think there's a better outlook than Dak this year. Now I know some of you saying like, "Oh no, well, what about Dak and his weapons and CD and it's just like, yeah, look, he'll have them, but I just think at this point in time, Daniel Jones is the better quarterback.
So, there's only one true metric in today, the year 2023, of who's good or not, and that's if you put up fantasy points. Bert,
Mm,
guess who was the number 9 fantasy quarterback last year?
was it Daniel Jones?
It was Danny Dimes over, Dak Prescott at number 18, all right, overall. Let's see. Now, Dak missed a couple games at the beginning of the season, but Daniel Jones still had more yards. He had a better completion percentage, right?
Mhm.
Um, he had more completions, obviously, played more games, but the attempts were, even the yards, every yards, even rushing, you're talking 182 to 708. That's the difference. Daniel Jones, listen, I'll say it, is a better athlete than Dak Prescott. I know you don't look at them two, and there's not a black and white thing. It's just Daniel Jones looks like a goofy librarian, but somehow it's somehow he. I mean, that 80-yard run. I get that he tripped on himself,
Yeah.
but that was impressive. I mean, that
For
was
Daniel
impressive.
Jones, yes, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you don't expect that from
But
a
for
Daniel
anybody, I don't
Jones
know
type
any. I
player,
mean, how
you
many other
know?
quarterbacks can do that? Like he was outrunning the secondary. They only got him because he tripped. That was it. And so he and then Brian Dable unlocked something with him last year.
Yeah.
So, like, he looked really good. If he can continue that, there's no doubt. I always say on the show, all you need is a top half quarterback. I don't see why Daniel Jones can't be a top third quarterback.
Mhm.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about somewhere in the fringe top 10 to top 12, 13 range. That's what if Daniel Jones can be that, that's a huge success for the Giants. And so yeah, to me, Dak can't stay healthy. All those interceptions, I'm gonna go ahead and shoot him some bail and say that's a little bit of a outlier. But I
Yeah.
don't know. What I've seen from Daniel Jones, I am more comfortable with going forward with that than the sporadic nature of what Dak Prescott can give you. I just don't see it. Dak has a lot of hype around him, and I like what Daniel Jones has been able to do. So I would agree with you, man. I think Daniel Jones is the second best quarterback and the NFC East. I know a lot of people are going to get mad at us about that, but
Oh,
I mean,
well, you will certainly hear the argument like, "Oh," and look, we're not saying Dak is a bad quarterback, but when it
mhm,
comes down to who's better in this division, it is Daniel Jones, and you'll hear the argument like, "Oh, well, down Dallas's defense sucked last year, so they were always, behind, so Dak had to throw more, which is why he threw more interceptions." And to that I say, "Well, in order to be a good quarterback, you have to have good accuracy, so
yeah,
don't throw it like that,
yeah,
or throw it where on the target where it's supposed
yeah,
to be." So, look, we're not here to lie to you or just
yeah,
get you all riled up because we want to spew our narrative. We're here to spit facts.
yeah.
And the fact is, Daniel Jones is better.
Is better. We have a monopoly on the truth on this
We do.
show and on this network. So I mean, everybody knows it. So yeah, Daniel Jones definitely I think would be is the second best. Um, but it's okay, Dak. You can be third best.
Yeah.
But who in the division to you has the biggest question mark?
It's easily the Commanders, right? I mean, you go through the lack of identity at the quarterback position. Yes, beefing up from a defensive standpoint. They certainly have the most to prove because I still feel they're in somewhat of a rebuild. And not for nothing, as much as we've touted him too, I don't want to say lost faith, but I'm not terribly confident in Ron Rivera's leadership.
Yeah, me
Um,
neither.
so I think they're the biggest question mark to see how they can gel as a team. Look, we know the Eagles just went to the show, man. Like
Wow.
we know they're good. The Cowboys, you're gonna I mean, to your point last week, like it's gonna be consistently. It's either be
Mhm,
consistently mediocre or consistently a
mhm.
circus, one way or
Yep.
another. So there's really no question marks there. Do they have the potential? They do. Can they get it together? Likely not. And the Giants trending upwards. We kind of know what to expect, and our expectations, particularly as Giant fans, is high after
Yeah.
seeing last season, and especially with the additions we've had this year. So the biggest question for it's but by like a large margin. It has to be the Commanders or insert name here, whatever they're going to call themselves in the near future.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to Dan Snyder in a bit. I see. I'm not because I know what the Commanders are. I'm not expecting anything, especially from their quarterback position. I don't really. Their question mark has been answered. Like they're starting fresh with a new ownership,
Hmm.
with Josh Harris and Magic Johnson and the 12 other people that own the team now. But for me, the question mark is the team we just talked about, and that's the Dallas Cowboys.
Hmm.
They lost key personnel on defense, and most importantly, they lost their most important person, Kellen Moore, who went over to
Ooh,
Los Angeles. So for all those people who don't think Mike McCarthy's a good coach, he's now calling the plays. And you're coming off of a season where Dak Prescott had highest interception total.
yeah.
I have and you got old ass Stephon Gilmore coming to town. You paid him a lot. Ezekiel, the only good thing that the Cowboys did this offseason is that none of their players punched a bartender in the face.
The-
That's about it. I mean, thank God, drama free for the first time ever. I can't say that about my Bills. We can't have one normal fucking offseason without something happening. I feel like the Cowboys are in the same boat, and
yeah.
so but for a team with because the Commanders don't have Super Bowl aspirations and nobody expects anything of them. I'm not really questioning anything that they're doing. They're still trying to figure it out. I guess if you wanted to say, I mean, their defense was low key really good last year, especially towards the end of the year. I believe
Mhm.
seventh ranked, and that was without Chase Young. If the biggest question mark for the Commanders is can Chase Young be the guy they drafted and come back healthy? Because if they have a good defense they can anchor, I mean, with the weapons on offense, as long as Sam Howell's okay,
Mhm.
the team was winning with Taylor Heineke. I got to imagine Sam Howell can do similar things.
I hope so. If
Um,
not, what the other option is what? Jacoby? Like,
yeah, yeah, not exactly good, but yeah, I'm worried. The Cowboys should be worried. Losing Kellen Moore, a guy who took a lot of credit for their success, and then with Dak Prescott, and then what do you do? Tony Pollard is now the number one back. It was great when he was the second guy, and everybody loves the backup, but now that he's the man, supposedly, there's a chance Ezekiel Elliott can resign with them. I don't know. Maybe that'll happen as
mhm.
the sand empties out of the hourglass on his free agency. But for now, Tony Pollard's the guy, so that's different. And then what are you going to do on defense? Now Zach Martin wants a new deal. He's not reporting to camp. You need him, like you
Yeah.
need him on that line. So I have questions about the Cowboys because the Giants got better. The two biggest question marks about the Giants were Daniel Jones, which got solved really early, and
Mhm.
then Saquon Barkley, which got solved yesterday, if you want to call it that. Because I definitely want to get your opinion on that because I don't understand the fight to not get franchised to take a 1-year deal where you were essentially getting what you would get franchised for. What did you think
Or
of
less,
or less?
well,
What I think it was
yeah,
like 10 and some
essentially what you
change.
would get, yeah,
Yeah,
but still less than somewhat rookies are making,
right.
to be honest with you. Man, I'm indifferent about it, and that's, we can get to that. I mean, you wanna get to it now, or you wanna get to
Yeah,
it
yeah,
after
go
the
for
fact?
it. Yeah, yeah, because I didn't add it to the thing in this kind of,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
look, I'm very happy he's back, and we don't have to go through the drama of like, I'm gonna sit it out. I'm not gonna do this because if that were the case, like he would easily. I mean, that's just lost. That's just lost cause, and it's not a good showing from the Giants either. I mean, come on, we certainly have to do something for this guy. But, look for me, the basis for comparison from when it comes back to like comes down to a running back contract is all off of Christian McCaffrey's contract, right?
right, right,
And we're now in this era, and we've seen it with quarterbacks, and a lot of skill players too. Is like now people are just get like we saw in the Daniel Jones contract. Like I don't think Daniel Jones is a $40 million man, but like hey, that's what he got paid. That's what market is now too. So I just don't think the Giants obviously wanted to go down that route. I don't understand like why not tag him? Why not sign the tag? Like that's it, and then just pay him what it is anyways. I guess maybe to save it so they can tag him again next year. But even then, like just pay it, right?
right, yeah.
I mean, I will say with that being said, the running back position since the past decade, teams have proven that you don't have to go out and sign a big running back in order to become a Super Bowl champion. In fact, since 2013, Super Bowl winning teams have paid less or have paid their leading rusher more than 2.5 million, or have not paid more than 2.5 million for their leading rusher. So it says no Super
Wow,
Bowl winning team since 2013 has paid the leading rusher more than 2.5 million. So it shows, I
Jesus.
mean, you don't need just one guy, you just maybe need a consistent, duo back there. That but like overall, and plus the shelf life of running backs, as we all know, are like so iffy.
Well, that's why they're having the trouble that they're having now. JT just popped in and said Saquon almost got traded to the Dolphins.
Ooh,
Dang.
I mean, I would hate it because I'm a Giant fan, but like thinking for the Dolphins, that ain't bad.
Yeah.
Like,
No, yeah.
but I
For
will
him.
say, JT and all the Dolphin fans, and this includes a lot of people in my family. Dolphin fans are the kings of we almost had them. You like have you noticed that? Oh, we almost had Tom Brady. We
Yeah.
were a boat meeting away from having Tom Brady. We
Yeah.
almost oh, they almost came. Doesn't matter. They're not there. Guess
Yeah.
what? I'll see
Yeah.
him in blue.
Yep.
So
So you
sorry,
get
man.
that, JT?
I'm
Bert
coming
hit you
out
with
hot.
Bert hit you with one of these. You almost had it, pal. Almost had it.
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I mean, look, I'm happy he's here. We'll see what happens.
yeah,
Maybe he'll earn himself an extension or some sort of contract in the regular season if he performs well, and that's the goal too, right? Going back to our expectations, we expect like our expectations are very high, but they're not Super Bowl bound, right? Like I'm a
right.
realist here. I'm not going to sit here and say like, yeah, the Giants are the Super Bowl. I think they're plus 2,500 to win when the odds came out today for what the upcoming season looks like. But so yeah, I don't hate it, but it is what it is.
So the Saquon, the problem with the running backs, and JT and Adon talked about this because it is probably now in today's NFL better to do running back by committee.
Oh
When
yeah,
you pay a guy the money he's trying to get paid, he was trying to get Christian McCaffrey money. He was trying to get like 16 mil a year,
he
which
didn't.
is
But yeah, but he didn't have
nuts.
Christian McCaffrey production. That's the
Right,
thing, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
But he believes now, I will say to his credit, last year when he came on,
Hmm.
that team looked a lot different. So if he wanted to sit there and make the argument that he made the offense go, then fine. I'm never going to be mad at people asking for what you want to get. You know what I mean? You are
Yeah.
worth what somebody's willing to pay you. And you're not going to know what that is unless you ask for it. So I just wish the running backs are having a hard time. They're having like a Zoom meeting, but like you said, the shelf life is low, and I do understand that it's unfair because running backs are one of the few positions that get paid for um they want to get paid for the future, but they have to prove themselves first. It's like they're the one position that has to like continuously. But by the time they do that, like it's pretty much over. They take so
It's
much wear
peaked.
and tear.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
done. So now teams, and again as an owner, try to put the owner cap on. I do understand. Hey, you're a little broken down a little bit. I don't know if I want to give you 16 million guaranteed dollars every year. Like that's
yeah.
wild. So
Well, what's
it's like a
even yeah, go ahead.
no, no, I'm saying that's just like it's a rock and a hard place situation. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Now, again, me, the monopoly of the truth teller here. I've always said, Bert, what do I say? You don't pay skill players.
Yeah.
Period. Sorry, Saquon. I know your quads are huge and you can squat 725 or whatever the ridiculous number is. But guess what, buddy? Okay. We need to pay Danny Dimes because Danny Dimes will take us farther than you will.
Yeah.
Theoretically by
Hopefully gonna
position.
get hit far less too, yeah.
Hit far less, they're the quarterback is the position that you're relying on over the running back. So yeah, man, I'm glad he got it done for this year, but buckle up, strap it on, Bert. You're going to do the same shit next season
I know.
because
That's it
it's
is
going to
what it
be.
is. Here's a wild stat about running backs. We've been talking about Christian McCaffrey and how
Mm,
he's the highest paid running back in itself. He has the highest average annual value among all running backs, which is 16 million, what Jerome just said. This is according to Axios, but the 86th highest among all players. So he's
mm.
the highest paid and like running back from an annual standpoint. But when we're looking at all players, he's number 86. That's insane.
I
For
mean,
that, like you said, for that position, like they should
yeah,
honestly, they should be one of the most well-paid positions because because their window is so short. So why
yeah.
not make your bag in that window? Because your body's just going to give out on you eventually, you know?
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's the fully guaranteed part that the owners are scared of because you get hit a lot, you're one hit away, even though
Yeah.
every player technically is one hit away, but
Yeah, but
more
you're gonna
so for
give
the running
like
back.
what did what Justin Herbert just get 152 million guaranteed
Yeah.
in his
So
contract for someone who barely gets hit. To me, it should be the opposite, almost hazard pay to a certain extent.
Justin Herbert Chargers agreed to a 5-year, $262.5 million extension.
Insane.
I mean, good luck with that. I mean, Justin
Yeah.
Herbert, I get the talent and all that stuff, but he hasn't really done. It's one of you can't lose him, right? Joe Flacco got a similar contract way back when, and people were making a big deal about what the Ravens gave Joe Flacco, and I made the argument: who are you going to get? Like, there's very few guys that you were comfortable with, and you pay
Mhm.
the guy. Matter of fact, we just went through this with Daniel Jones. People are like, "Oh
Yeah.
my God, we gave Daniel Jones all that money." All right, well, who are you going to go get? Andy Dalton? Like,
Yeah.
it's you have to pay the guys that you need to keep. They couldn't afford to lose Daniel Jones. I know a lot of people have jokes for Daniel Jones, but he played well enough that I think that the Giants and I guess Joe Shine agrees that he plays well enough or he does enough that the team can win if they just build around it. Nick
He's
Bosa not
proven that.
expected to he has proven it.
Yeah.
Not expected to
Um,
practice.
quick
Yeah.
correction, Justin Herbert fully let's see, deal includes this is according to Schefter,
Mhm.
133.7 million fully guaranteed with a potential for 218.7 guaranteed and a no trade clause. So
Yeah.
dude got paid.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, the Jalen Brown from the Boston Celtics, similar deal.
Yeah.
The
Oh
biggest
yeah. Yeah.
max, no the trade kicker, the no trade clause, he got everything, a player could ask for. You're not gonna trade me and everything's in my power. And Boston that sets the precedent. Same thing with Justin Herbert right now. Saquon Barkley's trying to do that for the running back. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes for them in the future. All right. Fuck all the bullshit, Bert.
Yeah.
Let's get the real questions out the way. Now we have to get the nitty gritty. Which team in the division has the best uniforms?
Yeah, this, when when you sent me the show prep and I looked at this, I was like, I don't know what he wants me to say because I'm not going to say anything other than the Giants.
Hmm.
Yes, I know they're boring, but it's the classic look. And me being someone who's a fan of a team in this division, I can't say any other team. I wouldn't
Yeah,
go near those colors during football season, let alone think one of them is cool. Now, look, I'll give respect where respect is due for just design and everything. But I mean, when we did the show last year on the Commanders' new look, easily
yeah.
unimpressed. The Birds really haven't changed their uniform in a while, and God knows Jerry Jones isn't going to change up America's team's uniform.
No.
So no, I'm going with the Giants. Yes, it's stale. Yes, it's vanilla. Yes, it's boring. But I will not. My fandom will not let me say anything else.
So if this was 4 years ago, I would have said Washington.
Mm,
Just that burgundy and gold, the
mhm.
letters, their uniform was really tight. Everything about it was perfect, and then they went and shitted on it all with this Commanders nonsense. Bring back the Redskins, man. Fuck it. Um, fuck it.
I just can't believe you're saying the word now. You haven't said
Yeah,
it in so long.
I
Yeah.
know. You know why? Because the indigenous tribe, they don't give a fuck. They liked it. They didn't care. Who cares? It was just people just hated Dan Snyder. That's how I'm convinced of that. But anyway, I agree with you. I tried to I was gonna say the Cowboys, but I hate that the Cowboys use 2 separate blues.
Mm,
I hate that they use navy blue on their star, and then they wear their white jerseys with the royal blue.
mhm,
Now I do like their navy blue top with the white shoulders. I like their throwback.
mhm.
Um, I would have said the Eagles if, they need to bring back their Kelly green.
Yeah.
That's probably the best one of the bunch, but they don't have that yet. Supposedly that's coming next year. So,
Interesting.
um, yeah, and that with the 2 helmet rule, I think they're doing I thought it might be this year. I don't know. All the teams are unveiling their you see the Broncos new helmet, that fucking ugly
No.
piece of shit.
Oh, I
They have
gotta
a
go look at
white
this now.
helmet. It's their I don't know why they're not bringing back the orange crush uniforms, but they have a white helmet, but they're wearing it with their all orange color rush jerseys. It's so stupid. It looks stupid.
Oh, I
If
do
they would
see
have did
that
all
now.
white,
Which
if
is
they would have done
the
all
old school logo I do like though.
yeah, but it's with the dark blue. So if they would have maybe if they would have used the
Ah.
regular their old school blue. The Broncos need to change we're talking about teams that have uniforms. Broncos need to change their shit up. I know the Cardinals just did it, but um, yeah. Dwayne Marcus, what's up, brother? Dwayne Marcus got big news coming. I'm not going to spoil it.
Ooh,
I'm gonna let him do it.
he's
So,
starting
but
an OnlyFans account. I know.
he might, man.
Yeah.
He's down there in
Yeah.
DC, man. Times is tough, man. He's got to make some dollars. Um, so yeah, I think I agree with you. The Giants have a balanced jersey set, and I like it.
They
Now
do.
I do prefer the Giants the whole name on the side
I
as
do
opposed
too.
to
Just
the
the
NY,
NY. Yeah. Yeah.
but it just looks clean every time they wear it, man. Big blue,
Yeah.
man. I do like it. The only competition for me is would be the Kelly Green Eagles whenever they unveil that. Times do be tough down here, he says. That's
It's
awesome.
yeah, it's the throwback that gets me particularly for the Giants. Like when they had their when they wore their '80s throwback last year with the royal blue with like the red
Hmm,
trim.
hmm.
I immediately went out there and bought that jersey. Um, I mean, look, I like the regular ones too. I mean,
Yeah,
classic, simple, right? And even
yeah.
their white with the red trim looks good too. So look, can't wait to see if they unveil like in terms of like their helmets, what it's going to look like, and so on. So
So now that we did that, who should be favored to win the NFC East?
the Eagles.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
are. They're I mean, between offense and then, having, like, the number 2 defense in the league, they're poised to win,
yeah.
plain and simple. I can't dispute that fact. I absolutely can't, and the only time I can is if for some reason, if we're doing the show in week 5 and they went 0 for 5, then I'll dispute it,
Yeah.
but no, as of right now, it looks like they're gonna win.
So I almost put them as my biggest question mark, and it's only because they lost both of their coordinators, but that speaks to how good they were
Yeah,
last year.
yeah.
But Nick Sirianni, good God, you want to talk about the perfect coach for the perfect city? I trust him. He is. There's no doubt in my mind he'll make the right decisions, and the talent is still there. I know they lost some pieces on defense, but they have the best quarterback in the division.
Yeah.
And they have
The biggest
AJ
threat in
Brown.
quarterback, because even I mean,
Yeah.
look, whether his accuracy is getting bit better year over year,
Mhm.
and he's mobile, dude's got legs, he moves so quickly. So, man, I think if he stays healthy and we don't have any type of freak injuries like,
Yeah.
like RG3, like, you have to be careful when you get those quarterbacks moving out of the pocket and getting going. I know it's your biggest gripe with Josh Allen too and doing too
Yeah.
much. So, I think if they utilize him and he plays his game the right way, it's almost unfair for the rest of the division.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with you there. All right. Uh my all NFC East team,
Mm,
Bert, obviously Jalen Hurts at quarterback.
yeah.
I have Tony Pollard at running back. Only because I feel like and I know you're gonna say Saquon, but
Hmm.
I just I see Tony Pollard doing more on the field. I need, more versatility. I just think he's a little bit better of a pass catcher. I know that was Saquon's thing out of Penn State, but
Yeah.
primarily used him as a power back. Like
Yeah.
they haven't really they've done it. Obviously they've used him in screen pass situations, but Tony Pollard, man, he just watching him go is has been amazing. For my receivers, I went with Terry McLaurin or AJ Brown is my number one, Terry McLaurin is my number two, and CeeDee Lamb is my number three. And then, sorry, I chose Dallas Goddard over Darren Waller. I
Ooh.
did, and then obviously I did the uh, uh Cowboys defense. I'm sorry, Cowboys
Oh,
defense. Micah Parsons. I couldn't look past it. I wanted to do the Commanders. I really did, but
yeah,
I just they have some question marks, and Micah Parsons is a beast. And the Cowboys defense, even though overall they weren't they were in and out because of injury, but they still forced the most turnovers last year out of any team in the league. So um, I'm going to rock with the Cowboys defense. Now, the reason I chose Dallas Goddard over Darren Waller is because when Darren Waller is healthy, he's a top three tight end,
yeah,
right? But Dallas Goddard has relatively been healthy, and he's a top five tight end. The
yeah.
problem is Darren Waller's never fucking healthy, so it's it's like I'm choosing health here. Like I think I can rely on him. I can't trust that Dallas Goddard or Darren Waller is going to be available to me for most of the season. But hopefully this is new scenery. Married Kelsey Plum, who just dropped 40 the other day with the
Yeah,
record breaking Las Vegas Aces. Shout out to them and so lucky dog and I just think that Dallas Goddard's just been more consistent for me, so that's why I went with my all 8 NFC East team.
sounds I don't wanna say I mean, somewhat similar. So our quarterback and receiving core is the absolute same.
Mhm,
Running back, I have Saquon,
mhm.
uh, because again, I would not be able to pick anybody else.
Yeah,
My tight end, I did go Darren Waller for his
yeah,
upside, right? You
mhm,
just made an excellent point about if he stays healthy, but I think easily if he does stay healthy and Daniel Jones is who we think he is, I think we'll see an explosion from him because not only is he going to get the reps, he's going to get the looks too.
yeah,
Because look, we know the Giants receiving core isn't anybody notable, although getting there. We also do know that Daniel Jones does need an out, especially for
yeah,
those short routes. He just needs someone to throw to, and you're going to have Darren Waller right there to help him in any situation possible. Defense wise, I went the Eagles. It was tough for me to
yeah,
not do anything else. They were the number 2 ranked defense last year. I think in terms of defensive leaders, they led in terms of like yards per attempt and yards per completion overall in terms of like limiting obviously from the opposing offense. So I almost did Commanders
yeah,
as well, but I couldn't look past the fact that when you just looked at everything from an Eagles standpoint, look, they were in the Super Bowl for a reason. So I did round that out. But again, receiving core was the same. We do have some representation from everybody between the Cowboys, Eagles,
mhm,
and then you got Terry in there too. You have to throw him. I
yeah,
mean, he's a solid receiver. He's another one who, if he stays healthy, he's going to help really build up that team too, and give Howell some help as well.
absolutely, absolutely. David Burns, man, appreciate you. Thank you very much. Shout out to
All
Cedar Hills,
right, we got
Texas.
Texas in the house.
Let's go. David Burns says, between Martin, Lamb, Parsons, and Diggs, I think Diggs is the least important one. Hope we can
Ooh,
keep the rest. Yeah, they just signed him to a deal too. So
yeah.
yeah, I am again. Zach Martin is important. I would probably put him number one because he's on the offensive line, correct? So
Hmm.
then Micah Parsons and see, I would rank Diggs ahead of Lamb. Again, I don't particularly. I'm not fond of paying skill players. Anybody can catch the ball. Anybody can catch the ball. I know CeeDee Lamb is terrific, but he hasn't really shown me anything that makes me believe that he could be a great number one receiver. Like he's good, but he's not somebody like I would never put him like is he a top 5 receiver in the league? Like that would be the only thing. And I don't think he is. He's
Hmm.
maybe in the top 10 somewhere if you want to really argue it, but I just don't defense wins championships. You got to pay the offensive line. You got to pay your quarterback. So you pay your pass rusher, you pay your shutdown corner. That's Parsons and Diggs right there. Those are two. You pay your quarterback, Dak. It took them a while, but they ended up doing it. And you pay the tackles, Zach Martin. So, sorry, CD Lamb, you just by order of operations, you get cut out of that deal. So we'll see. Don't forget, everybody, you can go listen to our podcast, our new revamped Give Us a Shot Network podcast, anywhere you get your podcast. Now, instead of finding us individually, you can find us all in one spot. Apple, Spotify, Spreaker, wherever you listen to your podcast, search Give Us a Shot Network. You can listen to us, JT and the Don, The Divide Live, Go Talk with Marcus, High Spot Podcast, and much, much more. So please head on over, whatever you do, leave us a 5-star review. Sorry to steal and bite from JT and the Don, but we're trying to win some awards up in this bitch, and we need your help. So just